top 20 quotes that will inspire you daily. There is a moment in every life, a crossroads where you decide whether you will live as a spectator in your own story, or as the author who refuses to let the pen slip from his hands. History is built upon the shoulders of those who dared to believe in their power to shape destiny. And Napoleon Hill was not just a thinker of ideas, but a sculptor of human possibility. His words, carved in the stone of time, echo like battle drums for anyone who has the courage to listen. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve, those 11 words are more than a quote. They are a blueprint. They stand as proof that the greatest empire you will ever rule is the empire of your thoughts. Hill was not speaking about blind optimism. He was speaking of a law as real as gravity. He was telling us that thought crystallizes into reality just as surely as the seed becomes the tree. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine Thomas Edison in his workshop, his fingers blackened with soot, his notebooks scattered like fallen leaves after a storm. Thousands of failures surrounded him, and yet he never counted them as failures. He called them lessons. His vision of light was so strong, so unwavering, that no amount of darkness could put it out. This is the secret Hill understood. Belief fused with action is unstoppable, but belief alone is not enough. A goal is a dream with a deadline. How many lives remain unfinished, half-lived, because their owners never gave their dreams a finish line? The dreamer drifts. The achiever builds. When you set a deadline, you give your dream weight. You give it urgency. You give it form. Henry Ford once said, "Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off the goal." Hill knew that too. Fix your eyes on the vision and watch how the walls around you turn into doorways. Discipline is the unseen backbone of greatness. Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you do not control your thoughts, you cannot control your needs. The world is filled with people who want success, but few who are willing to command themselves to do what success demands. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. Freedom from weakness, from hesitation, from the small voice that whispers, "Not today." Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Yet, he disciplined his mind to hold fast to a kingdom no one else could see. And today, that kingdom spans continents. There is another law Hill revealed, one that most ignore. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Life does not punish, it instructs. The storm is not here to break you, it is here to sharpen you. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won before he became the president who would hold a divided nation together. What if he had mistaken his defeats as final verdicts? What if he had surrendered before the seed inside his suffering could bloom? Do you see the pattern? Vision, discipline, adversity. These are not random events. They are instruments in the orchestra of success. And gratitude. Gratitude is the conductor. Hill said, "When you are grateful, you attract more things to be grateful for." Gratitude shifts the mind from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to possibility. Andrew Carnegie the steel magnate who inspired Hill's work, once remarked that his fortune was not built on steel, but on people, on the men he was grateful enough to trust, empower, and lead. Gratitude does not weaken ambition. It fuels it. And still, success demands more. It demands persistence, the stubborn, relentless refusal to surrender. Victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. The difference between mediocrity and greatness often lies in one simple word: until. I will work until. I will fight until. I will rise until. How many men quit on the edge of gold? One swing away from fortune, one step away from destiny. Hill's story of the man who abandoned his mine. 3 feet from gold is not a tale of the past. It is a warning for every soul tempted to give up when the night is darkest. The voice of Hill echoes through time. Control your thoughts. Discipline your actions. Embrace adversity. Live in gratitude. Persist until. These are not motivational slogans. They are laws. Ignore them, and you will drift. Live them, and you will rise. But there is another key he gave us, one that ignites all the others: desire. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Desire is not a wish. It is not a vague hope. It is fire in the belly. It is the hunger that kept Edison awake, that drove Ford to revolutionize industry, that carried Lincoln through failure after failure. When your desire burns hot enough, the universe bends toward it. Without desire, there is no persistence. Without desire, no discipline. Without desire, the dream dies in its infancy. So I ask you now, what is your burning desire? Not the polite answer you give at dinner tables, not the soft wish you make when no one is watching. I am asking about the fire that keeps you restless at night, the dream that terrifies you because it is so big it could break you, yet so real you cannot abandon it. That fire is the birthplace of your future. That fire is the proof that you are still alive. Desire by itself is a spark, but a spark without fuel dies in the wind. Hill warned us, weak desires bring weak results, just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat. Think of Andrew Carnegie. He arrived in America as a poor boy, his hands rough, his pockets empty, but his desire to rise above poverty burned like a furnace. He fed that desire with learning, with relentless work, with the refusal to be defined by his station. And soon, the boy who once worked in factories became the man who built empires. Weak desire could never have carried him that far. Only a fire so fierce it consumed every excuse could. But desire must evolve into decision. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. How many men and women collapse because they never made an unshakable decision? Decision is power. Decision is finality. Decision is saying, this is what I will do, and there is no retreat. Hernan Cortez burned his ships so his men would have no option but to conquer. Success demands the same boldness. Napoleon Hill reminded us, people who fail to make definite decisions are easily influenced by the opinions of others. If you let the winds of others steer your ship, you will never reach your promised land. Clarity follows decision. Whatever you think today becomes what you live tomorrow. Your mind is the workshop of creation. If you allow it to drift, your life drifts. If you command it with precision, your life sharpens like a blade. Henry Ford envisioned cars for the masses when horses still ruled the roads. His clarity of thought was so exact, so relentless, that he invented a future no one else dared imagine. The same clarity is available to you if you dare to eliminate the noise and focus only on what matters. Yet, even clarity is useless without action. You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be. The world does not reward intentions. It rewards action. Action transforms invisible ideas into visible results. Walt Disney didn't stop at drawing cartoons on paper. He built a world where children's imaginations could walk in living color. He did not simply dream. He moved brick by brick, canvas by canvas, until dream became empire. Action demands courage. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. The fear of failure strangles more dreams than failure itself. Consider Abraham Lincoln again. Bankruptcy, heartbreak, countless political defeats. Yet each failure was merely a step carved into the staircase of destiny. He did not allow fear to chain him. He allowed faith to carry him. Hill insisted that fear is nothing more than a state of mind. And if the mind is yours to control, then fear is yours to conquer. But action without persistence is like planting seeds and refusing to water them. Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. The three together form the trinity of achievement. Edison did not invent the light bulb in one attempt. He persisted through more than 10,000 experiments. Each failure was not wasted. It was a map showing him what path not to take. That is persistence. Continuing the march when others collapse. Pressing forward when the reward is invisible. Watering the soil when there is no green in sight. Still, persistence is fueled by faith. Faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. Faith is not blind hope. Faith is certainty in the unseen. It is the bridge between where you stand and where you dream to go. Every visionary has walked across that bridge while the world laughed at their madness. The Wright brothers, ridiculed for believing man could fly, had only faith to carry them when gravity mocked their efforts. But faith plus persistence gave wings to mankind. And then there is imagination. Hill said, "Imagination is the workshop of the mind, where all plans are created. Everything you see around you, your phone, your home, the very cities we live in, was once only an image in someone's mind." Imagination is not child's play. It is the birthplace of industries, revolutions, civilizations. Disney's castle existed in his imagination long before it stood in stone. Einstein once remarked, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Hill knew this, for knowledge is limited by what is, but imagination reaches into what can be. But imagination alone will betray you if not joined with organized effort. No man can succeed in a line of endeavor which he does not like. Passion fuels organization. When you love the work, discipline becomes joy. Hours become minutes, and sacrifice feels like honor. Passion transforms toil into triumph. Carnegie loved steel. Edison loved invention. Disney loved storytelling. They did not drag themselves to their labor. They raced toward it, driven by a love so strong it obliterated weariness. Now pause for a breath and listen carefully. Success is never solitary. It is literally true that you can succeed best and quickest by helping others to succeed. Hill's principle of the mastermind reminds us that no empire is built in isolation. Ford had his engineers. Carnegie had his managers. Edison had his team. Even Lincoln had his cabinet. The synergy of aligned minds multiplies power. A single stick breaks easily, but a bundle cannot be snapped. Find your allies. Build your circle. Together, the impossible bends. And yet, beware of the opposite. Tell me how you use your time and how you spend your money, and I will tell you where and what you will be in 10 years. Surround yourself with mediocrity, and mediocrity becomes your ceiling. Waste your time, and time will waste you. Mismanage your money, and you will forever be its servant. The law is inescapable. As you sow, so shall you reap. Plant wisely. Invest deliberately. Guard your hours with the ferocity of a king, guarding his throne. Time. It is the one currency we cannot earn back. Hill reminded us, don't wait. The time will never be just right. Think of that. How many lives are spent waiting for a perfect tomorrow that never comes? The perfect time is an illusion. The only moment that exists, the only soil in which greatness can grow, is now. The successful do not wait for conditions to be ideal. They make conditions ideal through relentless motion. Edison did not wait for society to understand his vision of light. Ford did not wait for the world to approve of his automobiles. They moved, they acted, they built, and the world had no choice but to follow. But the world is not conquered by motion alone. It requires resilience. Every adversity has the seed of an equal or greater benefit. The storms of life are not punishments. They are invitations. Each setback is a teacher disguised as an enemy. When Walt Disney went bankrupt, he did not surrender. He drew again. When Ford faced ridicule, he did not quit. He engineered again. When Lincoln stood at political ruin, he did not retreat. He rose again. Resilience is the art of bending without breaking. And every time you rise, you prove to yourself and to life that you are worthy of the throne you seek. Still, even resilience is not enough without purpose. Hill taught, when your desires are strong enough, you will appear to possess superhuman powers to achieve. Purpose gives you stamina. It is the hidden energy that pulls you through sleepless nights and thankless hours. Without purpose, talent wastes. Without purpose, even victories taste hollow. Carnegie was not driven merely by steel, but by the vision of building a nation's backbone. Edison was not driven by invention alone, but by the purpose of bringing light to the common man. Purpose turns labor into legacy, and where purpose leads, vision magnifies. Cherish your visions and your dreams as they are the children of your soul, the blueprints of your ultimate achievements. Your vision is the movie of your future playing inside your mind. Guard it, feed it, expand it. Those who mock it cannot see what you see. They are blind to the seed still underground. But if you nourish it, water it, protect it, your vision will break through the soil of disbelief and stand tall for the world to behold. Every skyscraper was once only an idea in an architect's mind. Every empire was once a vision in a leader's heart. But vision demands strategy. A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. The battlefield of life is littered with the bones of men who quit one step too soon. Strategy is persistence with intelligence. It is knowing when to advance, when to retreat, when to adapt, but never when to surrender. Edison adapted his experiments. Ford adapted his models. Lincoln adapted his policies. They did not quit. Winners do not quit. They endure, they adjust, but they never lay down their sword. And beyond strategy lies mastery of the inner self. Hill wrote, "If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self." The enemy within is always more dangerous than the obstacles without. Laziness, fear, doubt, these are assassins more lethal than any external foe. Master yourself, and the world becomes conquerable. Fail to master yourself, and no victory will last. Discipline, faith, persistence, these are weapons of self-mastery. They are the armor that guards against the whispering voice that says, "You are not enough." But remember this, mastery is not isolation. You can do great things if you don't care who gets the credit. Ego is the destroyer of empires. Pride blinds men to wisdom, deafens them to counsel, and hardens them against growth. Carnegie attributed his fortune to his team. Lincoln credited his cabinet, even when they were his rivals. Edison's light bulb bore his name, but behind him stood countless men whose labor made it real. If you cling to the need for recognition, you will strangle the very network that could lift you higher. True power is found in shared victory, and as you rise, you must never forget gratitude. A positive mind finds a way it can be done. A negative mind looks for all the ways it can't be done. Gratitude breeds positivity, and positivity sharpens creativity. It does not blind you to problems. It equips you with the strength to solve them. The grateful man sees the door in the wall, the opening in the storm, the light in the night. Gratitude shifts the frequency of your mind from lack to abundance, and abundance is a magnet. Abundance attracts opportunity. Abundance multiplies itself. Finally, Hill leaves us with a truth so simple, so direct, that it pierces through all excuses. You give before you get. Life is not a ledger to be cheated. You cannot harvest without sowing. You cannot withdraw without depositing. You cannot expect reward without sacrifice. The greatest men of history all gave before they received. Lincoln gave his sleepless nights and his very soul to preserve a nation. Edison gave his youth to endless experimentation. Carnegie gave his fortune to libraries and schools. They gave and they received in kind. You must decide what you are willing to give, what price you are willing to pay, what sacrifice you will lay upon the altar of your dream. This is the rhythm of greatness: desire, decision, discipline, faith, persistence, imagination, vision, purpose, gratitude, sacrifice. And within it all the unshakable belief that the mind is the greatest kingdom you will ever rule. The quotes of Napoleon Hill are not mere words. They are laws, written not on paper, but in the very fabric of reality. And when you live them, the world bends. So let me ask you again, what is your burning desire? What vision do you hold so tightly that nothing can shake it from your grasp? The world does not need another dream of content to drift. It needs warriors of thought, builders of destiny, men and women who will rise, who will give, who will persist until the impossible becomes inevitable. Do not wait. Do not drift. Do not surrender. The words have been given to you. The torch has been passed. Now is the hour. Take these laws into your blood, into your bones, into your very soul, and live them. For when you do, the universe itself will conspire in your favor, and you will discover, as Napoleon Hill promised, that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Greatness has never bowed to comfort. It has never been born from hesitation, nor nurtured in the arms of ease. Greatness is the child of struggle, the product of faith, the reward of persistence. Napoleon Hill did not merely write about success. He mapped its very DNA. He gave us principles that are older than time itself, principles that shaped empires, industries, revolutions, and lives. But principles alone are powerless without you. You are the missing ingredient. Your belief, your action, your will. The words of Hill and the examples of Edison, Ford, Lincoln, Disney, and Carnegie are not meant to be studied like relics in a museum. They are weapons forged in fire, waiting to be taken up by hands willing to wield them. Your hands. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. That is not advice. It is a command. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for courage. Stop waiting for certainty. The only certainty life will ever give you is that it will end. The clock is not pausing for you. The years are not waiting for you. This is your moment. Now is your battlefield. And in this moment, you must decide. Will you be ruled by fear, or will you master it? Will you drift with the current of mediocrity, or will you command the ship of your destiny? Will you live and die as a spectator, or will you seize the pen and write your own name into the story of greatness? Look back through history. Every name you revere was once a man or woman with nothing but an idea. Edison had no guarantee his light would work. Lincoln had no assurance the nation would hold. Disney had no promise his kingdom of imagination would rise from bankruptcy. Carnegie had no certainty that steel would build an empire. They did not wait for guarantees. They moved with faith. They risked everything, and life bent to their will. And so it is with you. The fire inside you is not an accident. The vision that keeps you restless at night is not random. The universe planted it within you because you, and only you, are meant to bring it to life. Do not betray that gift. Do not let it wither under the weight of doubt. Stand up, claim it, fight for it. Victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. That is Hill's voice, roaring through the corridors of time. Refuse to stop. Refuse to surrender. Refuse to live small when you were built for greatness. The road will be long. The nights will be cold. The world will test you. But remember this, you carry within you the same flame that lit Edison's lamp, the same steel that carried Carnegie the same courage that guided Lincoln, the same imagination that lifted Disney. You are not ordinary. You are not here to drift. You are here to rise. You are here to master thought, discipline, persistence, faith, gratitude, and action. You are here to prove that the human spirit, when aligned with desire and decision, cannot be stopped. So rise, rise with your vision, rise with your dream, rise with the unshakable conviction that you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Carry these words of Napoleon Hill not as quotes to admire, but as laws to live by. For the moment you live them, your life will change. The moment you embody them, the world will change. And when history looks back on your story, let it not be said that you waited, that you drifted, that you quit. Let it be said that you believed, you fought, you rose, and you conquered. For whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.